Hi, I'm Keeley Hawes and I play Dr. Susanna Zellaby in the Midwich Cuckoos.
And I am Synnøve Karlsen and I play Cassie Stone, Dr. Susanna's daughter, and we are talking to Cosmo.
Brought you a tea. How are you feeling?
The way that I felt right after, I couldn't put it into words. But now it felt like I was visited.
We ate a lot of Nando's.
We ate lots of Nando's. I was actually very nervous to meet you. I remember the first day we went out for lunch. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And then it was just very easy. We just got on. It was like we were old pals.
Yeah.
So that was good. It's always awkward when you start a job and then you have to pretend that you're, I don't know, in love or something, and then you've never met this person before. And it was just very easy for us to...
Very easy. Very lovely to sort of have shorthand very quickly. You know, I think we work in quite similar ways. You never know. I mean, filming is something where you're thrown together with 100 or so people that you may or may not know or have worked with. It's for a very intense period of time. You all have to adjust your ways of working to each other, and I didn't feel like I had to do that. It just felt very, very natural.
I feel the same. I had a prosthetic bump that was made that completely matched my body. So like freckles, belly button, everything. So you look down and it's like, oh my goodness, am I actually? It was so realistic. So that was kind of jarring, but very handy as well.
When you're on set, things like the lights going on and off, it is creepy, and on the page it's very creepy, and hopefully what the viewers will see is very creepy. But what we see is a really nice chap in the corner kind of this. Yeah. It just feels very different. It's been quite interesting this week doing press to hear the reactions of the press and other people who've seen the show talking about just how creepy and frightening it is, because I feel quite removed from that element.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's amazing what the soundtrack does and all of those things. Helps to build that atmosphere.
I watched The Village of the Damned and I started to read the book and then realised that it was such a different adaptation, so I decided to focus on the script, and have since read the book, which was very interesting.
I hadn't read the book or seen the film. I decided to keep it that way just because, as Sin said, it's a very different version. It's a modern retelling. My character in the book is a man, which now feels sort of very dated, actually, when he is at the centre of this, female story. So, David Farr has adapted it, and he is a male, but we also had a female writer on every episode, very female cast at the centre of it. 2 female directors, executive producer, female, series producer, female.
This is such a different sort of modern adaptation of the novel, and primarily about the women and the mothers. So it felt just very fitting to really focus in on the scripts.
Mummy, what have you done?
We were with the kids, and the kids were lovely.
Yeah.
They were just lovely and funny, and very professional. It's not easy being a child on set with lots of adults, lots of impatient adults. And their ability to just switch in and out, sort of doing a TikTok dance or something, and someone's calling action, and they're doing some flossing, and then they just go straight into... They're there, Billy and and Indica. It was like...
I mean, honestly, Billy, I was like, Billy, who plays the younger version of Evie, she's done so much stuff that it was almost... She was telling me about her career.
So funny.
What she's been up to, who she's worked with.
Yeah. She's all like, Mark Strong said to me. Do you know Mark? Yeah, so I don't actually. No, I think he's amazing.
Tell us, please.
Back to bed, George. George. George.
It's a very ambitious project, so, you know...
Yeah,
it was
very ambitious, and just coming out of COVID, really, you know, everything takes much longer. It's quite challenging, more challenging, I would say, for the crew, who have to deal with a lot of PPE, you know, full PPE, like they're about to operate on someone. I mean, the full thing at times. And so it was an 8-episode show, and we had to bring it back down to 7 because we lost, you know, so much time due to COVID. So a lot of sort of wrangling. I remember running, and then I think I felt lightness and dizziness.
There's so much that you're in the dark about. As a character, I'm in the dark about a lot of what goes on, and I was quite keen to keep it that way. You know, in real life, you don't know all the happenings of other people. You sort of learn things as you go. So seeing it all come together was really amazing. But I think, yeah, that sort of ensemble nature of the series was amazing, but also challenging.
My daughter, I need to know she's all right.
We can't get in there at the moment.
She's vulnerable. I'm worried about her.
I understand. But we can't do anything, not at the moment.
I hope that they watch it and they enjoy it, and that it's a piece of escapism, because actually, ultimately, it's about women being impregnated with alien babies. You know, maybe cause a bit of debate. And I think it's not only women. It's that kind of, it's the scene in Alien, you know, with something coming out of you that is seared certainly into my mind. We all know that image. What the idea of something growing in your body is a universal horror, I think.
Yeah.
For whoever you are. So we can all relate to being horrified by that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely something interesting about motherhood, but also at the same time, you know, this is a sort of dystopian piece of escapism that, I think after the pandemic, I think it will be interesting to see what audiences think of it. And I think from the perspective of like a younger woman, there is something really interesting about that kind of like unknown life force that you're putting out into the world. But this is a very heightened version, so it shouldn't be compared too strongly, I suppose. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting question.